Hey, y'all, Zach McDonald, your real estate agent with Real Property Associates. I've got another Seattle real estate news breakdown for you today. And before we do that, I have to tell you about the monitors back here. We're down to one at this point. I was trying to clean them both at the same time, and somehow I got the behind the monitor wet. So right now, I'm drying it out currently, hoping that we can turn it on if you see it next week. That means it's working. But at this point, I'm just down to the one. Anyways, we're going to talk about an article here in the Seattle Times. I always print them out just because it's a little easier to go through. Written by Mike Rosenberg. I love the guy's stuff. In this article, let's see if I can say it right here. Seattle rents growing at among the slowest rates in the country as apartment boom reaches record. Yeah, that's hard to read. And I think that's more of a blog title. I wonder if it's that long really in print. But in this article, he talks about the average rents in the Seattle area. He talks about the building boom that we've had for new apartments. And he also just dives into some of the market. So we're gonna do that really quick. I'm gonna summarize the article first here and then share a few other thoughts. And I'll share some as we go through as well. So he starts off the article here. Renters looking for something that might qualify as a deal by Seattle standards are in luck as record number of new apartments spring up. And with new housing openings scheduled to peak this spring and summer, there's a consensus that rents won't be budging for a while. That's encouraging, right? If you're thinking about renting, yeah, rents aren't going to go up. And he dialogues in here and writes down that, you know, rents didn't really appreciate much over the last year. They're up about 1% from winter to spring. So a normal seasonal uptick, but not nearly as much as we normally see. He says here it's the smallest springtime increase since 2010, according to Apartment Insights and Real Data. Now, the average rents across all counties, or across all types of units, in Seattle, he writes down here, $1,940. On the east side, we've got $1,980. In King County in general, South King County, $1,460, and in Snohomish County, $1,500. Now, what's interesting is in Seattle, and he kind of dives into this more, we have seen quite a bit of new inventory in apartments, and that's been the biggest reason that apartment rents have stayed relatively flat. Now, they're still among one of the most expensive rents in the whole US. So living in Seattle is not cheap, and it's not going to get cheap, but it has leveled off a little bit. And in talking with the apartmentlist.com chief economist, Igor Popov, I think I got it right there. He mentions that it's the "it could have been worse" mantra. And with all the people flooding into the area, there were a lot of people building, which makes sense, right? Supply and demand. And now we finally hit that spot where, okay, supply is catching up with demand, and that's why we're seeing a leveling off of prices. In fact, as we go through this, we'll see that there actually are quite a bit of units sitting unrented at this moment. But I think he's right here. I mean, imagine all the people moving here, and I've talked about this in some of my market updates, and the Seattle Times talks about this too a lot, is we've had so much growth in the amount of population here in the area and in the jobs that if we weren't building, we would have inevitably had a lot higher rates for units because we would have had people bidding up just like they're doing for the houses. And we can't build housing like we've been able to build, as far as single family housing, like we've been able to build apartments. Now, he does talk a little bit more about this building spree. And in the Seattle metro area, we saw 17,450 apartments built in 2018, an average of 48 per day, and that was the fourth most in the country for the, let's see, which year? Third straight year. That's pretty crazy. Now, he also lists off, and you can see my highlights, these are pretty fun, but from 2010 until this year, 2019 now, but 2018 data, Seattle has been in the top 10 for new apartments. In the last few years, only New York, Dallas, and Los Angeles have built more units. But Seattle is a little bit smaller, so per capita, actually, Seattle is number one. The other interesting thing here in this article, I think, to highlight is really the idea that rents probably won't be going up. And people like Zillow are predicting actually that rents will go down a little bit and increase a little bit more for the whole metro area. But in Seattle, they're predicting that rents are going to go down. And we'll see as we continue through here that rents in general have gone up. And let's highlight a few of the things that he does here. He highlights the most expensive places to live and the cheapest places to live. So I think it's worth jumping into that a little bit here. So most expensive places on the list, and we'll show it up here on the screen. Downtown Seattle with an average of $2,490. West Bellevue, $2,280. South Lake Union, $2,150. Belltown, $2,090. The Newcastle area, Mercer Island, $2,080. And the Sammamish-Issaquah area, $2,060. And finally here, Capitol Hill, $2,010. So you've got a little bit of a range there, but all pretty highly expensive neighborhoods. They're expensive to buy in and they're also expensive to rent in. And the main reason is because they're just really popular places to be. Lots going on and they're good spots. Now, cheaper places to live. SeaTac, $1,280. Des Moines, $1,290. Central Everett, $1,370. I'm going to keep reading these because it's kind of fun. Tukwila, $1,370. Federal Way, $1,380. And Enumclaw, $1,390. If you're thinking about renting, hopefully that list is actually kind of helpful because it gives you an idea of, okay, if I want to be in a cheaper spot, these are the places to highlight. And hey, if I want to be maybe in one of the more popular destinations, or if I was planning to be, kind of know what you're getting yourself into. Now, I'm just going to throw the notes aside because I don't really want them anymore. But the interesting thing, I think, with rents remaining flat is that there's a little bit less of an incentive for people to buy a home. And maybe you're somebody that's renting and you've been thinking about buying, and I would just ask you to consider it. I mean, maybe comment down below. What are your thoughts? Do you think, okay, well, my rents are remaining flat. They might even go down. Is that going to increase your motivation to buy, or is that going to decrease your motivation to buy? I've seen and met with a lot of different buyers, and I meet with a lot of different buyers in a given week, but just in general in a given year. And the overwhelming sentiment over the past few years is my rents are going up and I don't want to miss out on the market. So there's a combination of factors. They're paying increasingly more of their income towards their rent, but they're also seeing that the housing market is kind of running out of control, which it did. And so there was a little bit of a motivation to take that step and buy. The market has slowed down a little bit. It is picking up again, but I think people aren't they don't have that sentiment as much that if I don't buy now, I'm going to miss out. And now rents have kind of leveled out. So if rents are leveled out and you don't have that sense of urgency to buy on the other side, I think it removes that pressure, which is good. If it makes sense for you to buy, or that's one of your goals, again, that's awesome. But I think in general that some of that pressure is relieved, which I think is a good thing. So if you're somebody who is renting, let's just throw this in there because I am a real estate agent. If you're thinking about buying and you're renting right now and you want to talk about, okay, does it make sense for me to take this plunge? Does it make sense in my situation to go from renter to homeowner? I'd love to be a resource for you. I like grabbing coffee, grabbing a beer, and just sitting down with people like yourself and bringing value and education to the process. So again, Zach McDonald here, your real estate agent. Thanks so much for watching these videos. I really appreciate your attention and I really value it. I have fun doing these news updates. They're a little different, a little bit more of me reading and digesting, reviewing essentially an article and hopefully bring a little bit of valuable context to it. So if you want to see more videos like this one, please consider subscribing to my channel. You'll also get my monthly market updates, which you'll find on my main page, and other fun videos like the park videos that I've been throwing out. Make sure you don't miss those either. So thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.